Hey there, Blue Mages, Liam here, and welcome back to Blue Academy. Sorry for the delay in this video, but today we're going to be talking about the healer spells for Blue Mage after the 5.45 update. Now, for those of you who don't care to watch a full video about this, you can just click the link in the video description and that'll show my recommended spell loadouts for pretty much every role, and that'll give you an idea of what to use for the main healer and off healer sets. Now, let's go ahead and get started. So I just mentioned main healer and off healer. It turns out that in a lot of the fights for Blue Mage, you really only need one person to be focusing on heals full time. And the other person can basically act as a DPS who sometimes heals. So we'll talk about those two different, I guess you could call them specs or specializations in greater detail. First, let's look at the core spells that they more or less have in common. And this is basically just the core spells that are included in the DPS spell loadout video. The next thing we will want to grab is our healing spells, and we'll be doing this from the perspective of a main healer. So actually, as it turns out, for main healer, we're not likely going to have room for our triple trident combo. So let's go ahead and get started with our healing spells. White Wind is always a safe bet to take because there are times where you need a lot of healing output, and White Wind has some interesting snapshotting capabilities, so it can be helpful to grab that. Naturally, we want Palm Cure. Gobskin is always good. We have the new AoE spell Stotrum, which is very, very powerful. It's basically Exuviation, but with a reasonable range. So it's very cheap, and it heals for quite a bit. And we have our sort of ultimate healing spell here, the 2-minute cooldown Angel Snack. This is 400 potency heal, 20 Yom range, which is huge, and it gives a 200 potency dot. Or hot, rather. And 200 potency is huge. That's like almost half of a Palm Cure every 3 seconds. So this is really good for AoE healing. So this is what it looks like, sort of in general as our default main healer loadout. So what do we do with these last two spells? So that really depends. If we're doing a fight like Bahamut here, for example, we will want to have Diamondback for that last phase, and also for cheesing dive bombs. It would probably also be helpful to have something like, Missile, or if we're using a Veil on this fight, you could pick up a Veil, things like that. These are basically going to be our last two spots are going to be used for utility. Now, if we don't need utility, if we're doing a fight that, is really just about pumping damage and it's pretty straightforward, we don't need a lot of utility spells, you would want to consider grabbing your Tingle and Triple Trident combo. If you need more utility, you might consider dropping something like White Wind if you don't need the huge AoE healing, or if you need to drop even more, you could consider dropping things like Bristle. Bristle actually has much less value to us now since we really only use it for Song of Torment on healers, and Night Bloom takes up half of our dot time anyway. So these are just things to consider. So this is the spec where we will be doing mostly healing and sometimes DPSing. Now, the off-healer spec is a little bit different. We're going to be dropping some of these heal spells. We will still keep White Wind if we need it. Palm Cure is always good to have. Angel Snack is extremely powerful, and Stotrum is good. But we can consider dropping our Gobskin. And you might want to grab, again, Whistle, Tingle, and Triple Trident. It's a very, very powerful combo. One of the most powerful combos that we got with our new spells. If you need the utility, you can drop your Whistle and you can just do a Bristle instead. Same recommendations as main healer. You can drop some spells as needed to fit more utility spells. But just keep in mind that in general, this style of healer will be doing damage more frequently and doing healing less frequently. This healer will also be making use of Moon Flute. The sort of main heal spec, we did include Moon Flute and Final Sting. Those are things that you could consider dropping if you need. But if you're an off healer, I would recommend keeping those and doing a Moon Flute opener. Now, the Moon Flute opener is going to be pretty similar to what is included in the DPS video. The only difference here is that we don't have Matra Magic. So for that, you could just sub in a Sonic Boom instead and basically treat the rest of the rotation as the same. So we might do, for example, a Whistle. We'll do our Tingle, Moon Flute, J-Kick, Triple Trident, Night Bloom. Now here's where we would kind of be diverging. So here is where we would as a DPS, we'd be hitting our Rose, Feather Rain, then we're doing Matcha Magic, Last Dance, Supernica, and, you know, finishing off the rest of the rotation. But like I said, we don't have our Matcha Magic here. So rather than interrupting myself by talking, I'll actually show what the full thing will look like here. So we do Whistle, Tingle, Moon Flute, J-Kick, Triple Trident, Night Bloom, Rose, Feather Rain, Sonic Boom, Supernicas, Sonic Boom, Shock Strike, and we'll finish with our Phantom Flurry there. So rather than doing the Bristle Matcha Magic, we'll do 2 Sonic Booms. But we get the same amount of spells in, so it's still very strong. As for how you play these, so like I said, the off healer is basically playing as a DPS, but filling in for heals when needed. Angel Snack is a super powerful spell, so I recommend coordinating with your co-healer and figuring out who's using it when. It can be very helpful for things like Mega Flare on Bahamut, can be useful on Brute Justice, pretty much anywhere where you have a lot of AoE damage. Almagest on Neo X Death is another great example. And then the main healer, their main focus will be, you know, we'll put our focus target on our tank and then mostly be spamming those Palm Cures and weaving in our primals, you know, as we can. So that's pretty much it. Overall, the playstyle is pretty much the same as before. We just have more tools now. Stotrum is very powerful for AoE healing. We don't have to use 1500 mana every time we want to heal. We have Angel Snack, which I've already said a lot about. Gobskin is always a good thing, but mostly our main healer is going to be taking that. And now we sort of are able to specialize even further into the main heal and off heal spec. So that's pretty much all I've got for this. I'll be making a tank video shortly. The tank video is much like this. The playstyle is mostly going to be the same for a lot of fights, although tanks did get a lot of cool tools. As always, thank you for watching. If you have any questions, feel free to ask in the comments or join the Discord and ask there. And if there's anything else you want to learn about, feel free to let me know, and I'll do my best to make a video for you. Thanks for watching, and take care.